Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield review video. We've got something exciting today. So we're going to be looking at a subscriber build. This is made by Malember, who got through to me on Discord and sent me his recreation of the Normandy from the Mass Effect game, specifically the Normandy SR2. So he gave me a trove of information about the Normandy, which was very helpful, although Mass Effect is one of my big games, so I kind of instantly seen it, and I was like, yeah, I know that ship. Really, really cool ship. So for anybody that's never played Mass Effect, which I recommend you do, they re-released the first 3 games as a Legendary Collection on Xbox, PlayStation, and I believe Steam too. Potentially Epic Store, but if you can pick it up cheap, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, sci-fi role-playing games, third-person role-playing games. I know that's sacrilege coming from a Starfield player. Starfield has a lot a lot of mountains to hurdle to be on the kind of level of Mass Effect, but then they're different games. But anyway, yeah, so this is the Normandy SR2, so for those that don't know, the Normandy is the main ship used by the main character, Commander Shepard. He's the big good guy, savior, kill all the Reapers sort of guy. So Malember did a really, really good recreation of this in Starfield. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, something to note is in slight spoiler for Mass Effect. In Mass Effect 1, in all the Mass Effect universe, basically there's loads of different races, and humanity is one, and they're called what are they called? I'm forgetting. I think they're just called Earth, but that couldn't be right. They're called humanity anyway. But the main faction for like humanity's like military might is called the Alliance, the Systems Alliance. And in Mass Effect 1, you were allied with the Systems Alliance, and then in Mass Effect 2, which ship is based off of, you are allied with Cerberus, who are a group of kind of pro-human, some would say extremist organization, but they basically recreate the original Normandy, and that's why it's called the SR2. Now, normally that version of the ship would be black and gold and red as Cerberus's color scheme, but Malember opted to go with the Alliance color scheme of the Normandy SR2, which is this white and blue. So, Malember, if you want to comment on the video and kind of if you want to give any kind of feedback or criticism on anything I've made a mistake of, I will pin your comment. I followed everything, the build to the letter. You were very detailed in your describing and stuff. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So it's got a fuel of 420. Which is very good. The fuel tanks are kind of hidden there under the winglets. Got a hull of 1243, which is absolutely phenomenal for a B-class vessel. This thing will more than likely rip in combat. I have yet to test it in combat just because I just got done building it, and I was like, I gotta do a review. Cargo capacity is quite low. It's only got 600, which isn't too bad necessarily, because in the messages he was saying, like, you don't need to worry too much about cargo, and I agree. Now, obviously, you could add extra cargo if you want to. There is 2 shielded cargo slots in the back. They're hidden under those primary engines. Now, I'm not sure if it's been a while since I've checked specifically what they said. I think it was shielded, but if it's not shielded, I apologize. But if it is shielded, it's handy because you can smuggle. For anyone that's wondering how to get the shielded cargo capacity, either you join the Crimson Fleet or you go to Porima and you land at the Red Mile. And then for the stats, we got a B-class reactor, 39 power, best reactor in the game. For B-class, which is very nice. It's got a crew of 8, which is really nice, considering Mass Effect is a game all about your crewmates, and they all bring various skills and stuff to the table. It's nice to have a large crew composite. It's got a jump range of 30 light years, which is absolutely phenomenal. Really good. That makes sense, given the fact that it's quite a light ship in terms of size, and it also makes sense because the Normandy is a stealth frigate that was designed to basically it's the System Alliance, aka humanity's most advanced vessel, and it's like way more expensive than even like some of humanity's dreadnoughts, which are 6 times the size. So they put a lot of effort into the stealth components of this vessel. It's pretty much undetectable by like modern scopes, although there is some scanners in the universe that can detect the Normandy, but it does a decent job. It's got a Vanguard shield of 1450. It's now this makes use of the merge technique to hide some of the components. Those like Nova Galactic pieces on the top above like the bridge and stuff. They not only act as a way to smooth out the ship, but also to hide some stuff. Now in the build, he or they, sorry, I don't know if it's a he. I apologize. They, I'll say. They opted to go with use some of the Crimson Fleet scanner blockers and stuff, you know, the ones that make it easier to smuggle and stuff. Now, I haven't done the Crimson Fleet mission yet on this save, so I couldn't use that, but he basically, sorry, apologies again, I always assume he, because, like, when I do my viewer stats, they're like 99.9% fail. So I apologize if you're one of the 0.1%. I don't think you are, though, because you told me your name, and although your name might be a feminine name in your culture. Anyway, so yeah, they basically put those little, the Nova Galactic pieces on the top. They hid all the, like, the scanners and stuff underneath. So it's got the 1450 shield, like I said. I don't know if I mentioned that already. I kind of went on a tangent, but that's hidden under the cowlings. And then they've got 3 sets of weapons. They have the Vanguard Obliterator particle cannons there, 6 of them. 4 mounted, 2 under each of the winglets in those Nova mounts, and then 2 underneath the bridge. And then they've got 2 EM weapons mounted on the side of the winglets, and then they've got 4 particle turrets on the back, which are really cool. I'm guessing they're there just for, like, for the sake of it. The Normandy, if I remember correctly, it did have later on in the game you could upgrade to get a special cannon underneath. But obviously, yeah, you can't get extremely low accurate in this game because the weaponry is very different. But I quite like the use of those, and they're dual mounted. They're mounted on the bottom and the top, which means you've got good kind of, I wouldn't say 360 degrees of view. The top there can obviously see 360. The bottom doesn't have as much view, but they can shoot forward and back. So as always, you can't buy this vessel. I sell it to the vendor just because I like to see the stats unmodified. So yeah, so let's buy it and check it out, shall we? It's a really long ship. It looks really cool. So just a little look of it there. You can definitely see like the profile is there of the Normandy. It's got those kind of like 4 winglets that kind of like curve inward. Mass Effect's aesthetics is like very, very cool. I really love the ships in it. So it makes use of those 3015 engines, which give us 180 speed. So there's 2 levels to this vessel. Oh, that's a problem. That's on me. I parked very poorly. So in we go to the first through the Tayo hangar. And we have the armory at the start, which makes sense because in the Normandy there is immediately in, like, once you go in, there's basically the kind of the armory / cargo bay. Usually there would be a Mako here or a, well, what's it called, a Kodiak in 2 and 3. They're like a transport vessel, and then the Mako's like a kind of an ATV six-wheeler. But currently Bethesda doesn't have that, so we're just gonna have to imagine that there's like a big 6-wheel monster there with a cannon on it. That's like one of the most ungodly things to drive. I'd rather drive a unicycle backwards than have to drive the Mako again. Anyway, and then if we go to the next area here, we have the infirmary, which again, they do have an infirmary on the Normandy. They have a dedicated a medic, Dr. Chakwa. She's quite a cool character. She patches you up along the way. She's partial to the rum, I believe. No, brandy. And then back here we have the workstation with the weapon workbench, the industrial workbench, the research lab, and the spacesuit workbench. Now this, in the Mass Effect universe, in the Normandy SR2, this could either be Mordin Solis's lab, technically, because he does do a lot of work. But it could equally be the room to the left of Morden's, which is just kind of a general area where you would upgrade your weapons and stuff. So if we head up to the top floor, we have a living quarters. We got some couches here. No beds, weirdly. And then we've got another here. Now, I'm going to admit fault here, because when I was reading the little text blurb that they sent me, sorry, apologies, they mentioned that they were supposed to be bunk beds, but when I built it from the picture, there is no bunk beds, so the crew currently are going to have to sleep on that. But Malember, if you want to let me know if I have made a mistake, if you want to correct it. I was following the pictures, but I could have made an error. And then past here, we have the control station. This is where you get that extra crew slot. Really, really nice. This would be where, normally in the Normandy, as you get close to the cockpit, you've got, like, people sitting here and, like, a little nav map. And then finally, we have the domain of everyone's favorite cripple, Joker, who isn't here today. I'm going to have to take the role of Joker. Someone actually said my character looks like Joker. I see it now. I break my legs a lot, so it's uncanny. But yeah, this is one of the best cockpits in the game, and it makes sense that they went with this cockpit because you have the single. Joker is very, very specific about him flying the vessel. And then we have these side seats here, which again makes sense because there is crew stations like mounted off to the left and right behind Joker. So yeah, let's take it up into orbit, see if she purrs. Let's pray to God we don't get attacked by a Reaper. Alright. It looks very, very cool. Look at that. That looks... It's like I'm in Mass Effect again. It's so cool. Malember did a really good job. Alright, so here we are in space. So, as always, I have a perk that increases my power by 5. So for the sake of this, we're going to fiddle with somebody. Perk. So, weapon-wise, we have our primary overkill weapons. No Reaper stands a chance against these. And then we have EM weapons if you want to board some ships. There's some Krogan that are encroaching on your territory. You can disable their vessel and threaten to cure the genophage again. And then we have particle turrets mounted there on the back that you can activate. So for the boost speed, this thing is... Oops, I did that arseways, I apologize. The base speed, when it slows down, is going to be 180. Which is because we're using those 3015 engines from White Wolf, I believe. Very, very good engines. Make sense because the Normandy is a very fast ship. I want to say it's the fastest ship in the Mass Effect universe. I think that's one of like the taglines of it. And then with the boost speed, yeah, this thing, we boosting fast. It like caps out at 715, but if you had the perk to increase your boost speed, we could probably get to 1,000. Do a quick agility test. This thing is very agile. It is B class, so it's probably not going to be as agile as like an A class, but it still gets the job done. And then look at that, yeah. And then the roll. This thing looks absolutely sick. I'm going to head to the mass relay, and we're going to go back to the planet. I'll show you how to build it. Alright, so we have split the ship down into various components, so we're going to start on the main body of the vessel. So we've got the Viking CP220 cockpit from Stroud Eklund. We have 3 Deimos 2x1s. We've got the control station and then 2 living quarters. And then at the back here we have the inertial reactor 104DS mag from Dogstar B class, 39 power, 1125. We're also missing some pieces. I'm going to bring these over real quick. And then we have the Vanguard Bulwark shield generator from Vanguard B class, 12 power, 1450 shield. And then underneath the cockpit here, there's 4 crew station, by the way. We have 2 of these Vanguard obliterators, A class, 38.99 range. That range is not accurate. I think there's a perk stat buffing that. 6.65 fire rate, 11 hull and shield damage, and 2 power, which is very nice. And then structural pieces, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these tile side caps on the port, and then 4 on the starboard. So they basically start here on the cockpit, and then they go all the way down to half this living quarters. And then at the back here, we've got 2 of these Stroud engine bracers A, and then we have the Stroud Hopetech nose cap B. Now for the bottom of the vessel, we have the shipbed 200 landing bay from Tayo. We have a Deimos 2x1 armory, Deimos infirmary 2x1, and Deimos workshop 2x1. We have 2 of these H10 Atlas helium 3 tanks from Dogstar, 210 each, very nice. And then we have the RD3000 beta grav drive from Relodyne, B class, 10 power, 36 grav jump thrust, which is very, very nice. And then next on the bottom floor, we've got the landing gear / weapons. We have 2 of these ACU Lander 11 landing gear from Stroud Eklund, 2 thrust each. We've got the 100 cm ballast shielded cargo from Sexton Shield System, 160. And then mounted on the Nova weapon mount, we've got 2 of these, more of these Vanguard obliterators, and we have a Nullifier 175 suppressor from Lightsight, A class, 1040 range, 1.5 fire rate, 48 electro damage, and 3 power. Now there's these components are all going to be mirrored, so there's the same on the exact same side. And then next we have these sit above this. We've got this Nova Cowling 2 LPF, so this is the port forward and the starboard forward. And then we've got 2 more of these Nova Cowling, these port mid and starboard mid. And then 2 of these Hopetech nose Bs facing backwards. And then 4 of these PB0100 Auto Neutron turrets. B class, 3899 range, 5 fire rate, 16 hull and shield damage, and 3 power. That range is also inaccurate. I don't know why it's doing that. It's kind of weird. And then they're mounted underneath. And then for the first set of engines, we have the Stroud Cap A from Stroud Eklund. We have 2 of these Stroud Cowling, 1 LA PT and 1 LB. So the LA variant looks like this, and then the LB variant just has the little kind of like indent on it. And then on the back here, we've got the White Dwarf 3015 engines from Relodyne, A class, 3 max power, 20,460 engine thrust, and 3150 maneuvering thrust. And once again, this piece is mirrored on the other side. And then for the second set of engines, the lower ones, we have another one of these Stroud A caps. We have the Stroud Cowling 1LA, and then we've got another White Dwarf engine. And then the exact same on the other side, just to confirm, there's the landing gear with the weaponry, there's the first set of engines, and there's the second. And then on the top here, we have the Nova Cowling 2LTF, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Nova Cowling 2LTM, and then we have the Nova Cowling TA. So same one. Now to put this together, we're going to start in the middle here, and it looks like this. You have all of these connected like so. And then we're going to attach the bottom. Now, something to note about this is you're going to have to do the merge technique to get said ship, or to get it functioning. This bridge doesn't want to play nice. Not this bridge, this piece. Because of the setup. I'm going to try and place it. I think it's because of the ramp. Yeah, see, it won't normally go there. So what you would have to do, I'm going to have to show you with a different cockpit. But basically, this is a common issue with a lot of the cockpits. So all you want to do is you would, in theory, I'm just going to move these. What you want to do is you would make a snap point higher. So let's say we slot this in like so. You make a snap point that would be higher like so, and then you would duplicate it, and it would slot. The duplicate would go down. Now, we can't do that with this because at this current space station or this current planet, we don't have one. So what we're going to do is we're going to use one of these instead. This also doesn't want to snap. So we're just going to look at it. We would press Y, it would slot down, and then you just delete it. So that's how you would do that, like so. And we will, for the time being, we'll just kind of have that sitting there. And then next, what we want to do is we're going to add the weaponry. So the weaponry, this thing here, these slot like so, like that. And then the these slot underneath it, like so. Exactly like that. And that's the exact same on the other side. We just want to grab these and slot them in. Oh, whoops, I did that the wrong way. See? And then again, this just slots under like so. And then for the second set of engines, they just simply slot like that. The engines always they'll line up with one another, like that. And then for this grav drive piece, this snaps directly under the reactor. Now these pieces here, you have to do a little bit of a merge technique to get them in here, because what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to slot here like so. But they don't want to play ball. So basically, in order to get them in where they need to be, we're gonna break it up briefly. So we're gonna put this piece here like so. That sits there. It basically snaps between the living quarters and the living quarters. And then we're gonna have to briefly remove these here, and we're just going to slot that in there like so. And then it won't want to go, but you just flip it and flip it back, and like so. And then you snap these back on the bottom. Just flip them so they're facing the right way. Perfect. And then these are rounded off with another Hope Tech nose cap. And then it's the exact same thing on the other side. We're just going to snap these in perimeterally like so. And then this piece on its own. Of course it has the turret on the bottom. We got to remove that turret real quick. And same again, you just flip it in, flip it back, like so. And then finally, we're going to put the turret back on the bottom. Like that. He has them both facing, or they have them both facing backwards. And then finally, we have this this long Nova cowling setup. So basically what you want to do is it wants to sit like that. Now, of course, the cockpit is in the way. I'm going to have to move the cockpit very briefly. And then the way this sits is it sits over the back. What's it? Okay. So it was actually the cockpit. So it sits over the back here. So this, you're going to have to do the merge technique on this again, because this is covering the shield. So you basically just place it, you flip it back like so, and then the rest of it just simply snaps in like that. I'm going to really quickly put the ship back together just so you can see how the bridge would sit. This is how the bridge sits like so. But yeah, that was the Normandy SR2. I really, really like this. Something I'd be interested in seeing, Malember, if you'd be interested in doing, is potentially making a Normandy SR1. For those that don't know, the SR1 is like slightly smaller. Looking at this design, you could definitely make it smaller, but I don't want to go changing anything because it is your design. The only thing I will say, if it was up to me, because I feel like with these videos, even though I'm reviewing ships and they look really cool, I feel like I have to kind of like give some, like, what would I do different? And like the ship itself, like, looks absolutely phenomenal. The only thing I will say is, and you did mention in the message, I probably would have went with the Cerberus colors, which would have been a more. Let me just do, if I was to do the Cerberus colors. Cerberus colors are more black and gold. I think they're black, gold, and red, aren't they? It's been so long since I played ME2. Let me check real quick. Oh no, it's white. It's white, gold, and black. So it would be. Let me just. So the second color would be black, and then it would be gold. Now it'd be a bit finicky to do. This is one of the issues with the painting, is you'd have to go and kind of add individual paint schemes to it. But yeah, all in all, really, really cool design. Absolutely phenomenal. Malember did a really good job. This ship is very cool. I'm definitely going to be taking this out for a rip, and going to be hunting down some collectors. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and check out some of the review videos. And also, if you would like to submit a ship for me to review, you can either message me on Discord. My username is Crimson Flyboy, no space, all one word. And then if you just want to send me pictures of the ship, and if you can also, if you want to give me like a bit of background on like why you made the ship, that makes it more enjoyable for me, because when I'm building it, I can be like, I see why they did that. And also, if you can if the ship is very intricate and you use a lot of like habitat pieces, if you can make sure to let me know what the habitat pieces are. If you don't have Discord, you can also message me on Xbox Live. My username is Crimson Flyboy with a space. And you can message me from PC too on that. If you don't have Xbox but you have PC, you can use the PC game bar if you have it installed, Xbox game bar, and you can just message me there. And then same thing, just want to send me pictures of the ship broken up and stuff. And yeah, but thanks for watching, guys, and thanks to Malember for the ship. It was a pleasure to review. But yeah, catch you guys in the next time.